wards of the state. The chairman of the primary election committee and the governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, announced the result in the early hours of today at the party secretariat in Osogbo. Oyetola polls 22,216 to defeat his main challenger, the former secretary to the Osun State government, Moshood Adeoti, who polled 12,921, while the former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives came third with 460 votes. In his remarks, the state chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Boyega Famodu, commended the committee and the representatives of the Independent National Electoral Commission for the performance which led to the successful conduct of the exercise.
Polls holding on Saturday, 16 July 2020. For me, we're all winners. I therefore extend my hand of fellowship to the other aspirants to join me as we prepare for the July election. We're all brothers. Let us join hands to build the Osun of our dream. Let us close ranks and eschew bitterness in whatever form. Therefore, may I use this opportunity to also ask our aggrieved members to have a rethink and join hands with us to further strengthen.
The Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria has announced plans to train 45,000 teachers on digital literacy and remote learning across the country. In a statement in Abuja, the registrar of the council, Josiah Jiboye, explained that the training, which is in partnership with the United Nations International Children's Fund, is the third phase of the global partnership for education. Ajiboye added that the first stage of the project is the training of 480 master trainers who will serve as facilitators during the program. Ajiboye further stressed that the training is aimed to bridge the gap created by the outbreak of the pandemic that severely affected the education system of the country.
Is embarking on digital literacy training and remote learning for 30,000 teachers across 16 focal states, namely Benue, Bauchi, Ebonyi, Enugu, Gombe, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kebbi, Katsina, Plateau, Taraba, and Zamfara states. It is important to note that the lead role of the teacher training subcommittee of the GPE program was ceded to the council by the Federal Ministry of Education under the leadership of the Honorable Minister, Malam Adamu Adamu. The training, which is designed to take place in 4 tranches, will take place between 21st and 26th February 2022 in Benue, Enugu, Kaduna, and Sokoto State. That's the first tranche. The first tranche will take place in 4 states. And the states are Benue, Enugu, Kaduna, and Sokoto State. And it will take place simultaneously. Each tranche of the training is involving 7,500 teachers. They have expressed, TRCN has expressed its view. We frown at the activities of some of these teachers in private schools in Nigeria because the tendencies that we are witnessing from teachers in private schools, they are not palatable at all. And we are not happy at the level of TRCN. And this is what we have been saying, talking about teacher professionalism. Largely, a large number of teachers in private schools are not qualified to be teachers. And the first, they are not even teachers. They are not teachers. And that is the reality. They are not, because they are not registered with us. Okay? Unlike teachers in public school, where we say that 83% of teachers in public school are qualified and they are registered with TRCN. Teachers in private school are not qualified. They are not. When we did a census of private school teachers in the Southwest, look at Southwest. We discovered that, a large percentage of them, about 80-something%, are not even qualified to be in the classroom.
Other development, the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Correctional Service, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have supported a proposal by the Senate to increase the number of justices of the Court of Appeal from 90 to 110. Speaking during a hearing on the bill, the Chief of Army Staff, Farouk Yahaya, said the increase in the number of justices is in accordance with extant laws. Also speaking, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Okpayemi Bamidele, said the bill will increase the number of justices to allow for the creation of more divisions of the court. According to him, the bill will bring the court closer to litigants in order to ensure speedy disposal of cases and declog the docket of the court.
Then we have the Court of Appeal, which is so crucial to us. The Court of Appeal Bill seeks to amend the Court of Appeal Act 2013 by increasing the number of justices of the Court of Appeal to from 90 to 110. Having juxtaposed the bill with the Court of Appeal Amendment Act 2013, the Nigerian Army opines that the amendment of Section 1 of the Principal Act is in accordance with extant laws, and the Nigerian Army further advocates for the appointment of retired service personnel from the legal services of the armed forces to the Court of Appeal to serve as assessors.
Primarily seeks to amend the Court of Appeal Amendment Act 2013 by simply increasing the number of justices of the court from the present 90 to from the present 91 and to 110 justices to allow for creation of more divisions of the court, appointment and elevation of judges from the lower courts to the appeal court, and bring the court closer to litigants in order to ensure speedy disposal of cases and to declog the docket of the court. The court also exercises appellate jurisdiction to the exclusion of any other court of law in Nigeria over decisions of lower courts.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said that the people of Niger Delta deserve considerable development gains. He also said one of the key objectives of the administration of the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is to ensure inclusive prosperity. Osinbajo explained that the federal government is collaborating with state government and increasing efforts towards ensuring the wholesome development of communities in the Niger Delta region and across the country. He gave the assurance in Bayelsa State at the construction flag off of the Angiama-Okporoma Bridge on the Yenogwa-Okporoma-Okube Road. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Ibrahim, has reiterated the federal government's commitment to supporting digital innovation and entrepreneurship as a platform to create more jobs and sustain economic growth of the country. He made this known while speaking to over 2,000 young people at the just concluded Ogun Tech Summit in Abeokuta, the state capital. The minister said the technology sector can be a source of hope and employment for talented young people who make up most of the country's population, a challenge internet fraudsters, popularly referred to as Yahoo Boys, to channel their energy towards technologically driven innovations and earn money legally rather than fleecing people to amass wealth.
That we are going to have today, we will be talking about. I feel like I should.
Those 5 questions and maybe 3 questions from.
You name it. Lots of things that are physical today.
And we even the ministry keeps developing policies and initiating different programs to ensure that we build a nation where digital innovation and entrepreneurship are used to create value and prosperity for all. That to empower citizens, we emphasize skills that will enable the adoption of digital technologies across industry. The second pillar addresses the need to empower citizens and provide requisite skills. To this end, the ministry has set to, and its agencies have set up online training academy, which together with other digital training outlets has led up to upskilling of over 500,000 Nigerians. That's what we've done in the last 2 years. We've trained over 500,000 Nigerians, and more are still being trained. When we get the data together, we will let the public know.
You can't say youth are lazy and don't want to work if unemployment is high. It means that unemployment tells you that there are no jobs. And if you look at the jobs, you're going to see the job market, you're going to see that there's been serious gross unemployment in Nigeria for a long time. Anytime that there's gross unemployment, there is also the tendency for there to be high crime, which is what we're experiencing. But the high crime is not an indication of young people's attitudes. It's an indication of that they're in this ecosystem where there's no opportunities for them to work. And because they can't work and because they have to eat, then they have to find a means to survive. That is what.
Thank God it was more of a practical session and everybody could see how effective believing and taking what you do much more serious. Like I said in the press conference, there is a whole lot of things to do, and Ogun State is lucky. When MI was leaving, he said, "Wow, so many young people around." I'm like, yeah, we have the largest number of institutions, so there's no reason why we can't turn this place around into a money-making state via tech and creative content.
The Minister of Works and Housing has charged the newly elected national executives of the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers to remain committed to promoting innovation for manufacturing and industrialization. Amid the call during the investiture ceremony of 15th National Chairman of the institution, Olufumilade Akingbagbo in Abuja, the minister noted that engineering is the core of the foundation for industrialization, hence the need to encourage local manufacturers and provide easy access to materials. The newly elected national chairman, Akingbagbo, stated that the institution will collaborate with interested partners to run certification programs for young practicing engineers to foster continuous professionalism. She further noted that her tenure will reposition the institution for open international opportunities that will establish members in their field of specialization.
Therefore, I can only say that this is a challenging time to lead and a fantastically opportune time to forge an unforgettable legacy. Your contributions towards innovation for manufacturing and industrialization will help in no small way to increase our self-dependence and self-reliance regarding making what we need. It will be a critical building block in our journey towards achieving the goal of quote-unquote made in Nigeria. As you assume leadership of this institution, I wish to state that I see an office and I see a job.
Increase in percentage of the number of engineers that will be bringing development to our country. A lot of our engineers are involved in politics now. They are building industrialization, but we want to encourage manufacturing. We want to encourage productivity. We want to encourage increase, especially in the preservation of the agricultural produce in Nigeria, because we have a lot of waste being recorded right now. And also in the oil and gas, there is a huge space in the area of underwater welding. We want to be able to combat that by creating the Welding Academy, which I've established today. We'll be building a welding academy that will be training young engineers in the area of underwater welding and welding in especially so that we'll be able to grow that space.
That ministry should actually be reserved for engineers who will direct and make sure that young engineers, are encouraged, are put in places. Ordinary road repair, everything in this country is contracting. We can't live like that. Older engineers are not helping the young one. For example, during youth service, no engineer should be sent to teach. They should be in industries. Of course, most of us have companies that can actually absorb these young, either youth service or young engineers, to absorb them, at least to mentor them. But the opportunities are not there. So I believe that we are not doing enough, including myself.
The parents of Leah Sharibu have called on President Muhammadu Buhari to keep to his promises by facilitating their daughter's release from Boko Haram before his tenure ends. They made the demand at the press conference in Yola, stressing that Buhari administration needs to fulfill its promise and secure freedom from the insurgents. Leah Sharibu was one of the 110 female students who were abducted on February 19, 2018 by Boko Haram terrorists in Dapchi, Yobe State.
Tell us what. And up to now, she is in captivity. I'm pleading with the President of Nigeria, Mr. Muhammadu Buhari, to fulfill his promise, because he has made several promises. He promised the family, he promised Nigerians, and even promised the whole world that his administration will do his possible best to see that my daughter return home safely. And up to now, today is good 4 years without hearing anything from him again. And much more, his tenure is about to finish. So I'm pleading to him to fulfill his promise before the end of his tenure. And I'm calling for the Nigerians and the members of the press to please put pressure on the federal government concerning the release of my daughter. The families are in pain. We need our daughter back home.
One thing we want to plead with Mr. President, that should be a legacy that he should leave behind for his 2 tenures, is that he will fulfill the promises he has made, that Leah Sharibu will be back home. We are counting few months for him to step down or to end his tenure. So the legacy we are pleading with President Buhari that will help the family of Leah Sharibu and the entire Nigerian people to remember him is that he has fulfilled that promises that he has made 4 years down the lane and set Leah free. A lot of girls are still in captivity, just like Leah Sharibu. Some have been able to escape. Some have been released. Leah is still in captivity. Mr. President Buhari, could you please just fulfill this promise, and it will be a legacy that we will never forget.
Greetings to you all. I happen to be one of those that were privileged to be released last year, 2021, from the captivity of Boko Haram. And it's no longer a story that Leah is still alive and has 2 children, as we've been hearing the news. So Leah is very much alive, and the likes of her, so many other young girls who are out there living helpless lives, living in fears, living in hopelessness, are still there, hoping that a day will come that the government would remember them and release them from the hands of terror.
The governor of Zamfara State, Bello Muhammad Matawali, has inaugurated a 12-man Zamfara State Development Committee charged with the promulgation of a 25-year development plan for the state. The committee's terms of reference include taking ownership and responsibility and driving the state's development plan to perform oversight function on the activities of the State Technical Committee and to serve as an intermediary between the State Technical Committee and the Executive Governor, among others. Inaugurating the committee, Governor Matawali said the decision is to constitute and inaugurate the committee was born out of the government's desire to establish a scientific and policy-guided development strategy for the state. Similarly, the governor also inaugurated the state and local government projects monitoring committees, saddled with the responsibilities of monitoring all projects at all levels.
The State Development Committee is expected at the end of its assignment to come up with a reliable working document that will provide a roadmap and spearhead the development of the State in the next 25 years and will be called the State Development Plan. Taking into cognizance the importance of these documents to the entire life of the state, we are carefully drawing the membership of the committee from different walks of life, and we believe that they are experts and could carry out the task up to the expectation. I urge you to consider this assignment, which is decisive in determining the presence and the future development of our diaspora. I therefore crave your indulgence to give the assignment an honest, holistic approach to that. At the end of the day, we have a reliable working roadmap that will guide our state developments.
A civil rights advocacy group, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, has criticized President Muhammadu Buhari over his reluctance on signing the Revoked Electoral Act Amendment Bill, saying his intentions are not nationalistic and patriotic but self-serving. In a statement by its national coordinator, Emmanuel Onwubiko, the group said the inflexibility and refusal of President to sign the Electoral Act is as bad as the military coups in Guinea-Bissau, Mali, and other West African countries. The group also described Buhari's refusal to sign the Electoral Act as a calculated attempt to undermine and sabotage the transparent conduct of the 2023 general election. It will be recalled that Buhari had in December 2021 asked the National Assembly to remove the clause that has to do with direct primaries from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The President, who stated this in his letter to the Senate, asked the National Assembly to remove the controversial clause on direct primaries from the bill and return the proposed law to him for assent. The Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, has revealed that a total of 2,038 lives have been lost to air crashes in Nigeria since independence. The Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer of the Bureau, Akin Olatero, made the revelation at the 2022 International Day for the Commemoration of Air Crash Victims and Their Families in Abuja. The AIB boss, he commiserated with the family members of crash victims, however said there have been significant reduction in the number of crashes over the years, attributing it to the collaboration between the Bureau and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA. He also assured that industry regulators and relevant authorities are committed to offering significant support, but even more so to preventing the recurrence of these incidents. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has extended its efforts to get more eligible voters signed up in the ongoing voter registration in Ogun State. This is as the Commission visit major and popular markets across the state to afford citizens to register or transfer their registration to their nearest voting locations. INEC's voter education officer in Ogun State, Omolara Onobanjo, said turnout is impressive as more eligible voters are now effectively utilizing the exercise. Onobanjo urged the people to support the electoral body in ensuring a hitch-free election in 2023.
To note also that INEC has created some new polling units where you can vote during the election that are very close to your area. When you come to our office or at the various 20 local governments in Ogun State, they will explain all these criteria to you. Please, we are employing you to come out and register. And those that have registered before, there are other things that you can do. We've started this program since June 2021 and it will end by June 2022. So we are employing everybody, our voters women, to come out and register. For those of you that have missing cards, you can also come to our office and complain. They will collect your details and a new card will be issued out to you. For those of you that are relocating from one place to another, come to our office and do your registration.
8 farmers who were kidnapped by suspected armed raiders on their farms at Agasha Town in Goma Local Government Area LGA of Benue State have been rescued by the Joint Security Team and the state codenamed Operation Wild Stroke. The victims were rescued yesterday afternoon, were abducted last Wednesday by the marauders. A chief press secretary to the Benue State Governor, Nathaniel Ukoya, confirmed the rescue of the victims in a statement issued today. It revealed that the superior firepower of the soldiers overwhelmed the kidnappers who fled in disarray, leaving behind the kidnapped victims. On the foreign scene, Ethiopia started generating electricity from its mega dam on Blue Nile. This has been described as a milestone in the controversial multi-billion-dollar project. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, accompanied by high-ranking officials, toured the power station and pressed a series of buttons on an electronic screen, a move that officials said initiated production. Though the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is said to be the largest hydroelectric scheme in Africa, it has been at the center of a dispute with downstream nations Egypt and Sudan ever since work first began in 2011. Abiy described today's development as the birth of a new era, while Addis Ababa views the project as essential for the electrification and development of Africa's second most populous country. Cairo and Khartoum fear it could threaten the access to vital Nile waters. The Buckingham Palace has revealed that Queen Elizabeth has tested positive for COVID. Though the monarch is experiencing mild cold-like symptoms, it expects to continue light duties at Windsor over the coming week. The 95-year-old Queen had been in contact with her eldest son and heir, the Prince of Wales, who tested positive last week. Report has it that a number of people have been tested positive at Windsor Castle, where the Queen resides. To end the news, another look at the major items. Chief Justice of Nigeria says capacity building for judicial officers is key to national development. Metodio European Union announces development focus in Africa. Oshibajo says Niger Delta deserves considerable developmental gains. And many thanks for watching. I am Bolabo, Famous School. Good night.